Good morning. Welcome to my history class. Lesson number 7, topic Rise of British Power in Bengal. Now, I would like to analyze the lesson with the following points I am going to write in the board. Now, first point I am writing the economic condition of Bengal after the Battle of Plassey. First point, Bengal after the Battle of Plassey. Bengal after the Battle of Plassey. What happened to Bengal after the Battle of Plassey? You know, in the Battle of Plassey, Nawab Sirajuddaulah was defeated in the year 1757, fought again while fighting against the British East India Company. But at the end of the Battle of Plassey, Nawab Sirajuddaulah was captured and later on executed or killed. Then, in the meantime, in the battlefield, Robert Clive declared Mir Jafar as the new Nawab of Bengal. And afterwards, Mir Jafar did not want to pay the huge amount of war indemnity which was demanded by the British East India Company. The war indemnity, the economic condition of Bengal began to deteriorate after the Battle of Plassey. Why? Because of the war indemnity and the taxes and revenues which the Nawabs imposed on the people. So many restrictions also were imposed on the Nawab of Bengal by British East India Company. As a result, about when Mir Jafar opposed the company's greedy and exploitive demands, he was deposed, and in place of him, they made his son-in-law Milkha Singh as the Nawab of Bengal. And afterwards, Milkha Singh was an efficient and able ruler. Milkha Singh was an intelligent and able ruler. Milkha Singh, from the very beginning, wanted to make himself free from the control of British East India Company. How? Because he introduced many reforms for the development of Bengal, and afterwards he also undertook many welfare policies for the development of Bengal and its peasants, farmers and people. That's why he undertook many reforms. But unfortunately the employees of the East India Company, they sold their free trade privileges to the local traders. As a result of it, the taxes, the huge amount of revenues which the local traders had to pay, the Nawab was unable to realize it. Why? Because of the selling duty-free permits. The British employees of the British East India Company misused their free trade privileges by selling their duty-free permit to some Indian merchants. And as a result of it, this resulted in a huge loss. And Milkha Singh, huge loss of revenue to Milkha Singh, and hence Milkha Singh decided to abolish the free trade, or abolish the duties on internal trade. And as a result of it, the competitors of the British East India Company who were trying to create problems for the British East India Company, and British East India Company was unable to face a lot of competitions, and the time when the free trade system was abolished by, the imposition of taxes on local goods. Whenever that system was abolished by Mir Qasim, the British East India Company grew angry, and why did they decide to react in such a way? Mir Qasim had to face various types of questions of the British East India Company headquarters. Mir Qasim was unable to answer any question, but as a Nawab of Bengal, Mir Qasim just tried to show his independence, his independent rights, but the British East India Company realized that Nawab of Bengal, Mir Qasim, would be a great trouble for them. That's why they decided to declare war on Mir Qasim in the year 1763. So in the year 1763, the British East India Company declared war against Mir Qasim. The Mir Qasim realized that it was not possible to him to face such a war against the British East India Company. That's why Mir Qasim fled. Mir Qasim fled. Where? Mir Qasim fled to Ayodh, a place, Ayodh. Mir Qasim fled to Ayodh. Why? Mir Qasim fled to Ayodh. Why? In order to talk to the Nawab of Ayodh, Sujauddullah, and later on he also met the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. So he met two persons, Nawab of Ayodh. Mir Qasim fled to Ayodh and met the Nawab of Ayodh and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. That what was the result of it? What was the result of that meeting? Both the two powers, the Nawab of Ayodh Sujauddullah and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II, Shah Alam II agreed to help Mir Qasim in the battle declared on Bengal by British East India Company in the year 1763. As a result of it, the Battle of Buxar was held, The Battle of Buxar was held. Battle of Buxar held. Battle of Buxar was held in which year? 22nd October 1764. The Battle of Buxar held 22nd October 1764. The Battle of Buxar was held. And then what was the result of it? The company forces faced the combined forces. The company forces means the British East India Company forces of the British East India Company faced the combined forces of Nawab of Ayodh, Sujauddullah, and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II, and the forces of Bengal under Mir Qasim. So the combined forces of Mir Qasim and Nawab Sujauddullah of Ayodh and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II faced the forces of British East India Company in the Battle of Buxar in the year 1764 on 22nd October. Now what was the result of it? The Battle of Buxar. What was the result of the Battle of Buxar? The result of the Battle of Buxar was the company defeated the combined forces. The company defeated the combined forces of Milkha Singh, Shujaudullah, and Emperor Shah Alam II. So, what was the result of the Battle of Buxar? The company forces defeated the combined forces of Milkha Singh, Shujaudullah, Emperor Shah Alam II. So the combined forces were defeated by the forces of British East India Company in the Battle of Buxar in the year 22nd October 1764. 22nd October 1764. And afterwards, soon after the defeat in the Battle of Buxar, the British East India Company shifted Milkha Singh from power and made Mirzapur once again they made Mirzapur as the Nawab of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. The time when they crowned Mirzapur for the second time as the Nawab of Bengal, Mirzapur grew very older, and but still they decided to select as the Nawab of Bengal to Mirzapur, because of Mirzapur was not as arrogant, as offensive, as mischievous as his son-in-law Milkha Singh was. That's why the British East India Company made Mirzapur as the new Nawab of Bengal, and ultimately the Battle of Buxar ended with the victory of British East India Company, and Bengal had virtually been taken over by the British East India Company. So after the Battle of Plassey, what image the British had established in Bengal, once again they proved, after defeating the combined forces of Milkha Singh, Shah Alam II and Shujaudullah, they proved that they came to Bengal not only to trade but to be the ruler of India, and that wave of victory they established, that wave, the concept of defeating Indian regional kingdoms and the Nawabs, they proved from Bengal itself, and later on they also occupied various places of India one by one. And the time when they defeated Murshid Quli Khan, Milkha Singh, the son-in-law of Mirzapur, combined forces means Shujaudullah of Ayodh and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. The Shah Alam II and Shujaudullah had to pay huge war indemnity, and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II just offered the Diwani of Bengal to British East India Company. Since the British faced Shah Alam II, Mughal Emperor, and demanded the Diwani of Bengal, Shah Alam II, after having received 28 lakhs rupees from British East India Company according to some historians. I don't know whether the amount they demanded was exactly right or wrong. But thing is, 28, by demanding 28, by offering a certain amount of money, like 28 lakhs, British East India Company took the Diwani of Bengal from Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II after the victory of Battle of Buxar, and huge war indemnity they also received from Sujaudullah, Nawab of Ayod, and by that way the Battle of Buxar, which was taken place in the year 1764, ended, and the rule of Milkha Singh came to an end, and once again the rule of Mirzafar. The rule of Mirzafar started, but that time Mirzafar became a puppet Nawab. Mirzafar became a puppet Nawab, and the British just misused, the British just utilized Mirzafar, and Mirzafar remained silent because he realized that he had no strength, and his health also was being deteriorating, and as a result of it, the British took its advantages, and they started ruling Bengal, Bihar and Orissa during the second term of Nawabship of Mirzafar. Up to this, my dear students, next day, the remaining part of this lesson. Thank you.